Hello and welcome back. Maria Bartholdi alongside Paul Chian, and we are about to watch another draft from our featured pod. And Paul, I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm so excited about this one.
Yeah. After Christian went 3-0, I was just like, as long as he has a reasonable record, we might be able to watch him on day 2, and I'm really excited that he made pod 1.
Yeah, Christian Calcano is the drafter we're going to be watching. Let's take a look at his pod just to review where he was seated. We just watched William Huey Jensen draft. There he is, Sam Black, Brad Nelson, Javier Dominguez, Kelvin Chu, Seth Manfield, and there is Christian Calcano, Josh Utter-Layton. So just getting an idea of the story of how this draft played out. There is Christian Calcano, and there is Huey, who we saw draft earlier. Now, just for people who didn't see it yesterday, Paul, what craziness did Christian put together?
Well, he drafted lots of 1-drops, and he had 4 copies of Swashbuckling in his deck. Many buckles were swashed, and he actually ended up going 3-0. And actually, when I was talking to BDM, he was like, this deck looks awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, Christian, he's a lock for 3-0. That's how confident he was with this strategy. Yeah, basically the strategy is you take all the 1-drops, you take all the evasive 1-mana creatures, you have Blight Keeper, you have the Fire Keeper, and then you just put a Swashbuckling on and just try to get him for as many points of damage as possible.
So now that strategy worked out for him so well yesterday, do you think he can try and do it again today? Or are the people at this table, are they wise to what he's trying to do?
I think people at the table are aware of his strategy. And so, if you kind of see like a Swashbuckling table, there's not a lot in the pack, I can totally see somebody taking that card. Also, at some point earlier in the draft, we saw William Jensen take a dual shot over a card like Ruthless Knave, maybe being cognizant of the fact that this strategy might exist and maybe having a card like dual shot would be important.
But, a lot of people have been saying he's a great drafter. He made it here. He can draft anything.
Yeah, don't just expect him to force Swashbuckling. He's a world-class player. I was super impressed by his play yesterday. He can also just draft a great Merfolk deck.
All right, well, let's take a look at the draft of Christian Calcano. So excited. And there he is, the calculator, taking a look through his first pack. We'll be here right along with him. There's a Fire Cannon Blast that he has pulled to the front. That's a good red card. Depths of Desire as well as a Rummaging Goblin.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot else. There's also Fiery Cannon. Oh, there's also Shapers of Nature. So, Shapers of Nature, I believe, is probably the most powerful card, but it does kind of already lock you into 2 colors, whereas Fire Cannon Blast allows you to go into multiple colors. And, of course, Christian Calcano, considering a card that I haven't played in any of my decks yet in the Dowsing Dagger. There's also Depths of Desire, but I can't imagine him looking to take that over a card like Fire Cannon Blast. Just a premium removal spell. You're just happy to have it in almost all of your decks.
All right, well.
What?
Depths of Desire! Calcano proving us wrong yet again. What is he doing, Paul?
I have no idea, but that's okay. So Depths of Desire over a Shaper's Apprentice. If you're going to take a blue card, I thought he was maybe going to go with the Shapers. But all right, Depths of Desire. Oh, there's an aura. That's the first aura sighting that we have. There's a Mark of the Vampire. But Skymarch's Bloodletter, I think, being the better card. Just a solid evasive creature. You don't even have to be vampires. Just a 3-mana 2/2 flyer with the drain effect is quite strong. So I think that looks to be the best card in the pack, unless you want to maybe go into dinosaurs. Priest of the Awakening Sun is also quite strong there. If you have enough dinosaurs in your deck, just being able to gain 2 life every turn and then find a big threat late in the game is also pretty strong.
All right, Calcano here selects Sky March Bloodletter, so he's got Depths of Desire and the Bloodletter so far. 2 cards, do they go together?
Maybe. I'm just really interested to see what he wants to do with this Depths of Desire. Maybe that's just a preemptive D-draft against other Swashbuckling decks.
Well, it's pretty bad against him if he does draft it.
Right, that is true.
Deadeye Tracker is the rare in this pack for Calcano. Water Trap Weaver is a very strong blue card, as well as that Steadfast Armasaur near the front.
Yeah, so taking a look at this pack, I think the 2 strongest cards are likely the Steadfast Armasaur and the Water Trap Weaver. He already first picked the Depths of Desire, so he might want to follow that up with the Water Trap Weaver, very good blue card. And the Steadfast Armasaur I've also been pretty impressed with. It's just really hard to block.
All right, he is going to go with the Water Trap Weaver, which, as you said, I've seen be just an all-star, icing somebody's cards
Absolutely.
down.
Just, creatures like this have always existed in the past. 3-mana 2/2 that gets to freeze a creature. Just very, very powerful effect. Oh, River Sneak is such a Christian Calcano card.
So is. I was like, do the sneak, buddy.
Put some pants on that thing and just get ready to go.
All right, we've also got a Siren Storm Tamer,
right.
which wears an aura pretty well, just saying, but he can't, he's
And Siren Stormtamer does protect your creatures once you put an aura on. So he might look to take the Siren Stormtamer and maybe hope to table one of the other blue cards in the pack, the River Sneak or even the Water Trap Weaver.
Yeah, that's a great point. Stormtamer able to counter something your opponent does by sacrificing it and playing a single blue mana.
Yeah, if you remember what we saw in kind of in the first draft too, he's just like, yeah, 1-drops are super important for this strategy. Any 1-mana evasive creature, Siren Stormtamer, the Blightkeeper, those are really important so that you can actually put an aura onto those creatures on turn 2.
Speaking of protecting your creatures, I'll tell you another card that does a good job of that, Dive Down.
You know, I feel like he's actually just drafting one of your favorite archetypes in the format in Magic, which is just hexproof Boggles.
Yep.
He's just drafting Boggles. But basically what he's trying to do is, draft a bunch of auras and just have a bunch of ways to protect this giant creature. If he's in the blue-black combination, the aura that kind of stands out, One with the Wind, and also Mark of the Vampire.
So we haven't seen him take any of those yet, though.
There was one Mark of the Vampire that we saw earlier. Hey, wow. I mean, if he first picked the Depths of Desire, he's got to be super thrilled about this one. I mean, this is not a card that I personally had all that high, but, Christian Calcano has had a lot of success drafting slightly different decks, and I can't imagine him not taking the Depths of Desire here.
So is Depths of Desire something that he might be considering as well because it's good to help him with tempo?
Yeah. It could be a pretty strong card in a racing situation, especially if you're looking to put cards like Mark of the Vampire on your creature. A lot of times you end up in kind of these racing situations, and then you just have that clutch Depths of Desire to just kind of win the race.
Shipwreck Looter in this pack, as well as a Cobbled Wings, which would help him get to the air. Not a whole lot as far as auras go. He's just going to take the Shipwreck Looter.
Yeah, he just needs some cheap creatures right now. He's got the Siren Stormtamer. He's pretty much kind of locked into blue. We don't really know what his secondary color is. All he has is a Skymarch Bloodletter. So he's still trying to keep himself open and just kind of let the packs kind of help dictate where he goes. And that's a late Deadeye Plunderers.
Nice.
I can't imagine him not taking that card there.
Deadeye Plunderer is a really strong card. It gets bigger when you have treasure, and it can just make treasure, growing itself and giving yourself something to do as well in the late game.
Yeah, and specifically in blue-black, there are 2 commons that actually can make 2 treasures. You have Prosperous Pirates and Contract Killing, so Deadeye Plunderers just fits really well into that strategy.
Costly Plunder, there's a Dowsing Dagger in this pack yet.
Ooh, that Dowsing Dagger table. And so Dowsing Dagger, typically in a deck where you're kind of loaded to ground and attacking, not as good because you're giving your opponent blockers. But if your strategy is to put this on one of your evasive creatures, this can do a lot of work.
That's a great point.
And he's got that Siren Stormtamer. He's probably going to look to take some Blight Keepers if he finds any. So
there's an Opt left in this pack, as well as a Deeproot Waters, which does make hexproof creatures fall.
It does, and he took it. He took it. It makes hexproof creatures, but you do need to have a lot of Merfolk, and he's blue-black, so it's far less likely for him to pick up a lot of those.
Another Opt here, Crushing Canopy.
You got to protect yourself. You got to take that Crushing Canopy.
Oh, and he does.
That's right. Look, when you draft a strategy, you got to make sure people don't have those nice sideboard cards against you. Duress, also a way to. I think yesterday he was actually main decking a copy of Duress, so I would imagine he's going to take it here again.
And he does pick it up. There's his copy of Duress.
So one thing right now is Christian Calcano. Ooh, Deadeye Quartermaster. Would that do anything for him?
Well,
You can get some vehicles. He doesn't have any vehicles right now. Yeah.
he could go find a sword if he manages to pick up a cutlass.
Oh yeah, he does. He does. Yeah. Oh, and he already has the equipment. He has the Dowsing Dagger.
Dowsing Dagger.
Right. Yeah. One thing, though, that he's kind of lacking is auras. He actually did not table that Mark of the Vampire.
There are no auras in his list yet, and this is only what we can assume Christian Calcano is doing.
Yeah. I'm just based on kind of like the cards that he's taken and just his evaluation of, like where he was going. He was taking very cheap evasive creatures, probably looking to slap an aura onto them. But at the same time, he's got a reasonable curve here. He's got some protection spells, so he's still looking for some removal effects. He did take the Depths of Desire, but again, he's got that Water Trap Weaver. He's got the Plunderers. He could just end up in I know we might be a little disappointed, but he could just have a solid pirate deck, blue-black pirates.
He
That's
could.
Totally fine.
So what is he looking here in pack 2? Is it he's hoping to get on the Aura train? Of course, Blightkeeper is something he might be interested in.
So he's basically, I think he can go one of 2 directions, and I think it'll really depend on how the packs kind of pan out, he can either just move into kind of a normal, straightforward blue-black pirate control deck with, if he can pick up some removal effects, or if he gets some auras late, you get some Mark of the Vampires, get some One with the Winds with some cheap evasive creatures, he can also go in that direction. With a lot of the cards that he's chosen so far, he might be leaning towards the auras. It's also easier to get that kind of deck because people don't value those cards as highly as cards like Contract Killing and all the premium pirates. People are going to take those highly, but a lot more often people are going to be passing kind of those auras late and the 1-mana 1/1 flyers.
You can see there Christian probably going through the picks in his head.
What is he hoping for?
Crossing his fingers. Let's take a look
here.
here.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. One with the Wind.
That's got to be a mythic common, right? I mean, this is 100% the pick for Christian Calcano. I can't imagine him taking anything else here. That's in blue and black. Lurking Chupacabra. Not, if you want to be exploring, green-black is a combination I've seen that be strong in. But, I mean, there's not even a whole lot of other options here. It'd be interesting if there was actually like a removal spell, maybe a Vanquish the Weak with One with the Wind to see just how highly he values these auras. But currently, there's just not a lot of other blue-black options here, so I imagine he's going to just go with the One with the Wind here.
Yeah, Blood-Crazed Paladin is the rare in this pack, but Christian Calcano not interested, going to slam the common.
Oh, yeah.
One with the Wind.
That's number one. That's number one.
Got to be so happy to see that card.
Yeah.
You have 35 seconds to pick up your path.
He's also kind of lacking in the 1-mana creatures. Just kidding.
Oh,
just kidding.
there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
He actually had this exact same pick in pack 1. The choice between Water Trap Weaver and the Storm Tamer. And, I think just kind of in a vacuum, the Water Trap Weaver is a more powerful card. But with the strategy that Christian's looking to employ, I imagine he's probably going to go with the Siren Storm Tamer here.
Yeah, it just seems like a perfect fit for what his deck is trying to do, and plus the added protection that it offers.
It's also got 17 creature types, so like,
yeah,
but it
Siren,
is a pirate. That's
Wizard.
the important thing, yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Siren Pirate Wizard?
Of course.
Oh, all right.
Of course.
Yeah, sign me up.
Why not? All right, so there's a Siren Storm Tamer. Christian's still looking for a few more auras, but keep in mind he does have the Dowsing Dagger, he does have One with the Wind, and he even has a Deadeye Quartermaster, which you can use to get the equipment. I think he really wants a Pirate's Cutlass. That would be a really important card that he could pick up.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
That's a very nice one, especially with the strategy that he's looking to go for. He already has a couple of 1-mana evasive creatures. Turn 2, 2/3 flyer, really, really strong.
Storm Fleet Aerialist, just a really solid pickup here for Calcano.
Yeah.
Tielani's Knight in the pack, he's kind of making note of that, as well as a Sky Terror. Just things he might see across the table from his opponents coming up later in the draft.
Yeah. The only thing still, I mean, he has a couple of black cards, but right now he's almost mono blue.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
if he opens like a crazy bomb in another color, I can totally see him just shift gears and go into that color combination.
25 seconds to pick up your path.
But right now, I mean, this pack's been going exactly how I think Christian wanted. That's the Depths of Desire number 3, but Spell Pierce, another way to protect your creatures, so he might opt to go for that instead. Not a whole lot of other options. Again, we have the Spell Pierce and the Depths of Desire. He already has 2. There might be some diminishing returns.
How much desire is too much, Paul?
Yeah, okay, and it looks like he went with the Spell Pierce here.
I love this too because, not only when you're drafting, you have to remember, not only am I following my strategy, but I've got to figure out ways to make sure my strategy happens.
Oh, right. I mean, this is cool. Like it feels like he's drafting like a constructed deck.
It's really a treat to watch.
Oh, there's another one drop in. I know he values those highly. Stormfleet Spy though, an excellent just value card. He wants to be attacking. He has a lot of cheap creatures. Just turn 3, 2/2, draw a card. Very strong rate.
5 seconds.
Also, it's a pirate, so if he picks, there's a bunch of March of the Drowns in this pack, so he's likely to pick one up in the draft. So having your deck full of pirates, you can also play this kind of attrition game where you kind of trade creatures and then just get 2 pirates back.
Yeah, Stormfleet Spy, a really solid pickup for his deck. With Raid, what does he want to do? He wants to be attacking.
Right.
Let's take a look through here. There's a 2-drop, Queensbay Soldier, just a bear, but
yeah, I mean, you still need creatures to slap your auras onto, so I imagine he's going to go with the Queensbay Soldier here. Not a whole lot of other options. Otepec Huntmaster, I've been very impressed by that card in just any dinosaur deck that I've drafted, but he is nowhere near that archetype, so he's just going for the 2-drop here.
You have 20 seconds to pick up your
Still hoping for another aura here.
oh yeah. Ooh, there's a Jade Guardian.
Ooh.
Drowned Catacombs as well. Ooh, a Perilous Voyage. That's basically a cheaper version
yeah.
of Depths of Desire.
Yeah, yeah. Perilous Voyage is just a better version of that card. So I imagine he's going to take that. I think he still needs to make sure he has enough playables in his deck.
Sure.
So Perilous Voyage, just a nice tempo card as well.
Draft. Lay out 7 cards.
Getting the scry off that is always nice as well.
Yeah, anytime you get one of those little creatures. It's also really good against if somebody else is kind of going for this type of strategy, because oftentimes you're slapping an aura onto a cheap creature.
Deadeye Tormentor, the only card in his color left in this pack.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
It's got a nice little raid trigger on it.
Yeah.
Makes your opponent discard.
Draft.
Yeah, I mean,
Lay out 6
specifically in the
cards.
pirate strategy, just making sure you have all those 1 or 2 mana just evasive creatures, super important for being able to trigger raid and making sure that your creatures won't actually trade in combat.
Lurking Chupacabra, and there's that March of the Drowned.
There is that March of the Drowned. He's not doing a whole lot of exploring, so I'm assuming he's interested in taking the March of the Drowned here because he has a ton of pirates.
5 cards to your right.
Yeah, March of the Drowned has just been an all-star in a Pirates deck.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've definitely played some pirate mirrors where my opponent just played 2 of these, and I'm just like, so how do I win?
Yeah, exactly. They just
So
get
many
all their cards back.
Yeah.
5
All right,
seconds.
Sailor of Means. You know, a little offense and defense. You got your flyers, and then you got the Sailor of Means to kind of hold the fort on the ground.
You have 5 seconds.
May or may not make the deck, depending.
Queen's Agent left in the pack. There's a cancel. Would you run something like a cancel in his deck if we're talking about protection?
I think I would take a cancel and probably look to put it in the sideboard. The Queen's Agent is just really not what his deck is looking for.
Spreading Rot here, rounding out our final few picks from pack number 2. Definitely just a sideboard card.
Yeah, so I think overall this pack, the first few picks did go pretty well for him. He picked up some evasive cards, he picked up some nice raid pirates, and he picked up an aura. So, you know, he's still, I think, really, really looking for that Pirate's Cutlass.
Yes.
That is the best aura, I think, that he could look to pick up for his deck. But, you know, again, cards like One with the Wind and Mark of the Vampire would also be quite strong here. Oh, of course, he also got the Stormfleet Aerialist, which is just very amazing in his deck.
So there's a look at Pirate's Cutlass, definitely one of the cards on Christian Calcano's radar for pack number 3. But I gotta say, Paul, like, he's just got a One with the Wind and a Dowsing Dagger at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you're worried if you're sitting in his seat?
I'm a little nervous. That being said, he still does have kind of a reasonable curve. I think if you're just looking to play a fair game, it is a little bit on the weak side, I think, because he doesn't have a lot of just hard removal, and his creatures are kind of undersized. So yeah, he is really looking for cards like Pirate's Cutlass or Mark of the Vampire. Mark of the Vampire specifically, because it is amazing for racing situations.
Yeah, it just does everything you want.
Exactly.
Bumps your creature up, gains you life.
And you have the Siren Storm Tamers, the Spell Pierce to dive down. Just so many ways to actually protect your creature once you actually put, you know, auras or Pirate's Cutlass on.
So we came into this draft not knowing if Calcano would kind of go down the same path that he went down yesterday, and he's going down it, but just kind of in a little different way. He was red-black.
Right. Yeah, one thing that he might actually be a little bit disappointed is in 2 packs, he didn't see a single Blightkeeper.
No, he didn't.
Right?
And I know there were Blightkeepers in this draft.
There were Blightkeepers in this draft, so somebody else took that Blightkeeper. Oh no.
5 seconds.
We also know that Huey, if they ever end up playing, he does have 2 dual shots, fiery cannonades, these kinds of things.
He's got 2 fiery cannonades in his deck. So. But actually, fiery cannonade not doing a whole lot this time. Pirates this time. Doesn't quite work. But those dual shots will be very strong, for sure.
All right, we're getting ready here for pack 3. Let's take a look and see if Calcano can manage to put together his pretty unique aura strategy.
Oh yeah. So normally, like if I'm in this situation, I'm blue-black, I just go, okay, you know, I really want to open like a contract killing, like a nice removal spell. He's probably, or hostage take. He's probably sitting there like, One with the Wind. Come on, let's go with this One with the Wind.
All right, let's take a look. Ruthless Knave.
Oh, there's a Swashbuckling, but I don't think you're going to be splashing that. Wait,
Sailor means Windstrider.
Nope. So not a whole lot here. Bishop only in good into Pirate's deck.
Another Priest.
Imperial Aerosaur, incredibly powerful card. If he had a lot of ways to make treasure, I could maybe see considering playing the card just on pure power level. He does have a Sailor Means.
He does. Yeah, he does have those Depths of Desire as well.
Yeah. So he might actually look to take the Imperial Aerosaur. It is just by far the best card in this pack, and there's really nothing that's all that desirable for his deck.
All right, could we be seeing him making a move into another color here?
Oh, he's going for the splash.
Imperial Aerosaur, there it is. I mean, this card is amazing.
It is very, very strong. And again, Christian Calcano has already 3 or 4 ways to make treasure. So
5 seconds.
Let's take a peek.
there's
Another
depth. There is another
Vanquish
depth.
the week.
There it is.
Oh, Pirate's Cutlass.
Ooh, there's a Jace.
Jace. Oh. Wow, what do you take here, Paul?
I'm assuming that Pirate's Cutlass is the pick here. This is exactly kind of how what he's built his deck around, trying to pick up copies of Pirate's Cutlass, and he does have the Deadeye Quartermaster. And but I mean, the Jace is also pretty reasonable, but I mean, I think he's probably going to lean for the Pirate's Cutlass. This is exactly what his deck wants.
All right, and he does. Pirate's Cutlass is the pickup. I got so excited I dropped my card.
Well, when you see a Planeswalker, an on-color
know.
Planeswalker for your deck, you get a little excited for sure. But
March of the
we
Drown.
got to stick to the strategy here. You know, we have a plan.
There's a dive down in the pack. Does he want another one?
I mean, there's probably a decent chance that it'll table. He also already have a lot of ways to protect his creatures with the double Siren Storm Tamer, the Spell Pierce. Whoa.
Wow, search for Azcanta. Good enough for standard, good enough for draft.
Yeah. Search for Azcanta as a consideration. There's also Sailor of Means. He did take the Imperial Aerosaur. If he's looking to maybe fly over with auras for the win and maybe use the Sailor of Means as a mana fixer / defensive creature, he could opt to do that. What did he take?
Dive down.
Of course.
He's got a strategy, and he found
You
his
stick
lane.
to that
and
strategy.
He's going for it.
All right,
There's a
what do we got
Skittering
here?
Heartstopper, another Shipwreck Looter. Kind of all that's available for him here.
Right, but Skittering Heartstopper is a 1-drop still. It is not a pirate for the Cutlass, but you can still put one with the win on there. 1-drops are very, very important for this deck still. So, and the thing with the Skittering Heartstopper too is it's pretty hard to block. It's pretty annoying to kind of like trade your 3-drop for this Skittering Heartstopper. So, I imagine that's probably what he's going to be looking to do.
Yep, and he does. Skittering Heartstopper. A pirate insect would be terrifying, I think, creature type.
Honorary pirate.
Him holding that Cutlass. Ooh, Nightmare
Oh.
City, Paul.
Yeah.
Pirate's Prize.
There it is.
There it is, Blightkeeper.
Is that the Blightkeeper you were talking about?
I think it was. Yeah, we saw that
if there are
Blightkeeper.
any, he has monopolized the market when it comes to Blightkeepers. Because normally that's the type of card you usually take, you know, when there's 5 or 6 cards left in the
Right,
pack.
right. And, you know, the 8-mana ability on Blightkeeper, too, if he gets to that point in the game, it is relevant for a deck like his.
Oh, it was very relevant in day one. There were situations where like, oh, well, you know, it looks like Christian's opponent stabilized, add somewhere like 5 or 6 life, but he's got these Blightkeepers. He has
Right.
3 in his deck. It does give your deck some reach.
Arguel's Bloodfast in this pack here, an opt, a run aground. He might be interested in that.
Yeah, he is lacking a little bit of interaction. He does have a couple of bounce spells, but he could be interested in taking maybe the run aground here. There's not a whole lot else for his deck here. There is an Arguel's Bloodfast, but I think that's kind of more of a constructed card rather than a limited card. You can actually board it in against like slower controlling decks, but as we talked about before, this format is very aggressive. That is not really a card I'd be interested in playing.
So, am I wrong that Christian doesn't have any straight up removal and he just has bounce?
Currently, yes. I think all he has is bounce.
Interesting.
But he can draw 7 cards if he
Yeah.
wants.
Overflowing insight in this pack.
Or maybe mill his opponent. Heartless Pillage.
Heartless Pillage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see him taking that. It does make a treasure. He does have that Imperial Aerosaur. I'm not sure if he's going to play it or not. Overflowing Insight likely a little too expensive.
Heartless Pillage also, in a way, protecting his creatures by
Yep.
depriving his opponent of cards.
All right. Are we out of auras yet? Potential auras that we can get?
I think we might be.
Okay.
Storm Sculptor here. I mean, it's an evasive creature.
Yeah, and oftentimes Storm Sculptor, it's a pretty big drawback because you have to return like, you know, a 2 or 3 mana creature to your hand, and that kind of slows you down. But Christian has a lot of 1-drops in his deck. So, you know, effectively this could even act as just like you play this on turn 5, return your 1 mana creature, then just play that again.
Certainly
5 mana,
wears,
3/2 basic creature.
yeah, certainly wears a Cutlass Wells.
Yeah.
Ruthless Knave here, which it seems like the players haven't been too impressed with.
Yeah, this is a card that a lot of players have not really wanted to put in their decks. We saw William Huey Jensen pass it twice
Yep.
over, like, oftentimes sideboard cards.
You have 10 seconds.
Christian here, rounding out his draft. Deep Root Waters, yeah.
Ooh.
Depths of Desire. Well, it was this pack one.
What's
pick one.
going around? This is the first pickable card here. Why are people passing this? All right. So he's got a little more removal. Now he does have a ton of bounce effects.
Yeah.
He has triple Depths of Desire, Perilous Voyage, and a Run Aground, I
Yep.
believe, in his deck.
You have 5 seconds to pick up your pack.
What's interesting to me is to think about that. Like, is that good enough? Is that good enough? Where
Right.
where you're not able to straight up kill anything.
And the thing is, with his strategy, with what he was going for, I think a really important card was a card like Mark of the Vampire for racing situations, and he wasn't able to pick up a single one. I think he was really hoping that first one would table when he had the opportunity. But that was the only Mark of the Vampire that he saw. And,
Alright.
and the one with the wind that he saw, he took very early. And that was also the only aura that he saw for his deck.
Pirate's Prize, something that could potentially make the cut, draws cards.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit slow. Maybe it's a sideboard card, but yeah.
So there you have it, Christian Calcano's draft. Paul, what do you make of it?
Well, I don't think the draft went exactly kind of how he planned. I think he's kind of a little bit light on the auras. You know, you had the deck yesterday, a lot of one-drops, 4 copies of
4.
Swashbuckling. This time around, 1/1 with the win and a Pirate's Cutlass, but he does have the Deadeye Quartermaster to get some of these auras. We'll see how it pans out. I'm going to actually try to get a hold of him and see how he thinks about his deck.
All right, well, more draft. See these decks in action after these messages.